You're watching PEGRI TV, Rhode Island's public access channel.
The wheel is turning and you can't slow down. You can't let go and you can't hold on. You can't go back and you can't stand still. If the thunder don't get you, then the lightning will.
Hello and welcome to another episode of My Wheelhouse. As usual, I am your host Seamus. I'm joined today by some more familiar faces. Ben, welcome back on the show. How was your weekend?
Weekend was good. Weekend was hot.
Nice stuff. Got a nice Virginia Tech shirt on. How was the drive back?
It was long.
Long.
12-hour drive. So.
Yeah, that's too long. Yeah. I am Logan. Thanks for coming back on. What's going on?
Yes. Yeah, glad to be here.
I agree.
It's my birthday week, and I'm here.
Oh, that's right. That's coming up. Very exciting. We'll have to do something to celebrate
What day is it?
next week.
Thursday. I got my first birthday present on. I got my birthday shirt.
There you go.
Very nice.
Good to go.
Very nice. Joining us also today is Damian Lillard. Damian, thank you for joining the show. Without further ado, let's just get it right into it. We got a new segment coming after the wheel, but that's when we'll deal with it. Some good stuff. Okay, this is the first non-basketball topic to be on the wheel. Something that we're going to talk about real quick. It's just ESPN Fantasy Football versus Yahoo Fantasy Football. I just wanted to distinguish why I think that Yahoo is clearly superior to ESPN's in both the mobile app and on the actual site. I think it's not even close. I hate that in one of my leagues I'm still using ESPN. So I'm trying to just hash up any thoughts that you have on the two sites and why one would be better than the other.
So I definitely like Yahoo better, but I don't know about the app. I think the ESPN app is better.
They just did a bunch of updates to the Yahoo one, so now it's just completely different, and you can do more things. Honestly, my biggest qualm with it is you can't do transactions while players are in games. I just think that's the dumbest thing ever. I really don't have much to say about it. I just wanted to bring it up and I was just kind of.
But isn't that on ESPN and Yahoo? Or
no, it's just ESPN. On Yahoo, you can file for a waiver pickup. You can trade a player that's playing. But if they're playing in a game on ESPN, it's like, no, you cannot complete this action at this time because they're going on a trade. I know you're not huge on fantasy football. Do you have any kind of insight into this?
As far as Yahoo versus ESPN goes, I would definitely say that I like ESPN better for fantasy basketball. I just like the interface better on ESPN.
I feel like I disagree already on that as well.
Basketball, I definitely do Yahoo.
Well, we've just been. I don't know if we're partial to it because we've been using it so much more often. But I also find that ESPN uses weird scoring, and their ranking systems are always kind of a little skewed. And it's like they have players
that
way
different
are
than
off.
Yahoo.
Yeah, I don't know if I really trust it. But
I mean, maybe it's the same thing with your phone. You mean if you have an iPhone, what you were saying before, if you have an iPhone first, you get used to it, and that's what you like. So if you have a Samsung first.
I definitely started with ESPN.
Yeah, I started with Yahoo. But Yahoo did create fantasy football. It was the first site to have it. It had it before ESPN. Just so it's known. Okay, spin it. That's Kyrie. We're talking about Kyrie. All right, so July 7th, I believe, is the official date that was released that he requested a trade. It didn't come out until the beginning of last week. Very peculiar. I kind of out of nowhere, to be honest. He said 4 teams. He wants to go to the Timberwolves, the Knicks, the Spurs, or the Heat. I think it's more likely that he goes to one or not of those teams. What do you guys think about the initial just request to actually want a trade? Where do you think he could land? What are some potential trades? Just what are your?
I think it's kind of out of nowhere because this coming year the Cavs are competing for a championship, and now it's just like we've said, we talked about. It means that LeBron's probably out.
Oh, he's gone. I think it means he's 100% gone.
It means he's out, and I think it means Kyrie's kind of like he doesn't care about winning as much. He's just like he wants to be the guy. He wants to if he goes to New York, why would you want to be in New York over Cleveland with LeBron? I don't know. I don't understand that.
It's so unusual too. Because
why don't you say that next year after you almost win another championship? You have an opportunity to win a championship. Why don't you just say that next year?
I think he had just as many games where he had a higher usage rate. I think overall LeBron's usage rate was a little bit higher, but in terms of tallying the number of games where Kyrie had a higher usage rate, he actually had just as many number of games, more than LeBron. So it's not like he doesn't have a big role. He has a pretty huge role in this offense. Right. I think he had the 4th or 5th most shot attempts per game last year behind Lillard and a couple other people. I just don't understand what he wants. If he goes to San Antonio, instead of being behind the first best player in the league, he's going to be behind the second best player in the league. If he wants to go to Timberwolves, Towns is emerging. Jimmy Butler's there. He would be the 3rd best player on that team. I don't really understand what he wants.
It's got to be. I have to think it's something front office related because I'm not shocked to hear that he wants to be traded because once he was mentioned in the Paul George, Jimmy Butler rumors, I can see how that would kind of tick you off, especially as a guy who's been there for a while. But I definitely think it makes Kyrie look bad that he's asking
Yeah.
for a trade
Yeah,
from
And
the
he's
Cavs.
so open
definitely
about
sour.
it too. It's so unusual.
Yeah.
I just don't really get it. So what are you thinking that he's going to type of garner? Zach Lowe wrote an article where he's saying that the Cavs are telling him that they're expecting a king's ransom and that the trade is inevitable. Me and Ben were in the car. We're like, what the heck is a king's ransom? Like 2 All-Stars? Like what are you expecting?
Who has
they're
that?
gonna-
That could
yeah,
trade
what-
it. Like, I
who's
don't
gonna
know.
Well, I
get
mean,
that?
if you go to the Heat have lots of like just options of.
So if they went to the Heat, the package would probably be like Goran Dragic, maybe a future draft pick, and maybe a recently drafted player like Justice Winslow or like Bam Adebayo. But that's not a king's
Well,
ransom.
it'd be
Like, you know
hilarious
what I
if they
mean?
added in Deion Waiters and Deion Waiters play with LeBron again.
Well, even regardless, no matter where Deion Waiters is in the situation, if he's involved in the trade, he's either playing with Kyrie, who they literally had a press conference. They scheduled a press conference where it was just the two of them, where they just had to persuade the press that they didn't hate each other. It was just the funniest press conference ever. But then I agree, if he went back, he would just be playing with LeBron again. Regardless, it's hilarious.
I just don't see how the Cavs can't possibly get better for
Right.
this year by trading Kyrie now.
It doesn't make sense for them to get rid of him, other than he's just
yeah, they
being.
can't.
So I'm thinking I think they should blow it up. Like LeBron's leaving. I think they screwed everything up by not hiring a GM promptly. I think they should have retained David Griffin, but they didn't. Whatever, that's neither here nor there. They should have been more just direct in getting a new person into that position. Doesn't matter. Now that they just have this on their plate, they should probably just be able to get the inkling that LeBron is out. So they should just try to maximize their assets that they have now to be able to also give LeBron somewhat of a commendable supporting cast where he'd still be the favorite to make the finals, but then that you kind of saving face afterwards and not going to just be like moving into this time period of just complete oblivion without LeBron James.
Right, so maybe they would even trade for picks or whatever.
Yeah,
I mean,
so-
you're not going to get that from New York.
And they
You're
don't
No,
have
not
to
but
gonna get that
I
from
think they might. So I think what they should do is I think they should trade Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving, and I think they should do a 3-team trade, and I think they should send Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving to different teams, and I think they should try to get back at least one All-Star. And I think that New York is a great one of the 3 teams to get there because it's so obvious that they want to unload Melo.
Yeah,
and
right.
Bringing Melo to Cleveland is not that
Well, that's
weird.
what it would be hilarious if they do
Yeah.
the banana boat in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Like if that's an actual possibility if they get rid of
I
Kyrie.
doubt it, but like maybe.
Maybe I mean LeBron's just like he's gonna take over in Cleveland with his boys.
I mean,
He's
we
getting
said it-
Kyrie
we
out,
said it
and now
before.
he's getting everybody in. This is the first to that happening with Kyrie there. That couldn't happen. You couldn't have Chris Paul and
Right.
Kyrie on the same team.
Well, they're so maxed out with contracts that I really don't think that they'll be able to do that because they still have
Yeah.
Tristan Thompson and J.R. Smith and other players
can't
that
do
their
anything.
money is allocated otherwise.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that they're going to try to do that, maybe get like Melo and like a protected first-round pick for New York, and then at the same time like bring in Eric Bledsoe from Phoenix, or that was actually being discussed.
Phoenix makes the
potential
most
trade
sense
to,
as a trade partner. I
even
think.
like if they like did something with
One of the young
the
guys.
Nuggets or something like that, where they can get one of their swingmen like Wilson Chandler in a draft pick or Gary Harris in a draft pick, because they're still kind of cloudy about whether or not they want Jamal Murray to be their starting point guard. I just think that they should just go all in. Like I just think that they should just be like, holy crap, this is going to implode in our faces in a year. It's already starting to crumble. Why should we not just cash in on what we have now?
Which is crazy because I feel like when they were making those trades for Kyle Korver's one of them, what's his name, Williams, Deron Williams.
Oh, Deron. I was thinking Derek. But that's crazy because they both those
Yeah,
guys.
Deron Williams.
Right.
When they were making these trades, they were kind of just sending out first-round picks.
No, yeah, they were
it
just boom,
wasn't
boom,
worth
boom.
it because they never thought up until a month ago when people started talking about LeBron leaving that they'd have to this soon.
I mean, I didn't think it was going to be that realistic. I thought they were going to be able to retain stuff, but I mean, that's how quickly things change, I guess.
I just think it's a bad situation for everybody. The Cavs are going to get worse. Kyrie's not going to. I don't see how it's better for him at all. If he
Well,
goes
I mean,
somewhere.
if he goes to New York, like he's going to get like 28 a game. Like he's going to go off.
Yeah,
he's
not
not
going to
average
win.
more than 28 a game on New York.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. Next guy. We'll see what happens. No, you already did that one. Come on, Ben.
No, you got a consistent.
a bad day.
You should go on
That's
the
crazy.
Price is
This is
Right.
crazy.
If you go on the Price is Right, you get
There
the
we are.
$1 right on.
Hey, our boy Paul Pierce signs with the Celtics to retire a Celtic. He played 15 years in the green, 19 years total in the NBA. He's saying goodbye. I'm just going to rattle off some franchise Boston Celtics records, and you guys can try to guess. So he has the record for most points scored in a half in 2001. How many points he scored in a half?
32.
I'm going to go 37.
40-freaking-6 points
Whoa,
in a half
that's
in 2001. That's awesome. Most
In
points.
2001.
2001 against the Nets. It was in December. Awesome. In 2001, he scored the most points in overtime.
2001 again?
Yeah.
I know it's not
12.
46 this time.
12.
I would say 16.
Logan wins. It was 13. He has the record for most three-point field goals. It's like 1,000 something, whatever that. He has the most free throws made, most free throws attempted, most free throws without a miss in a game.
9.
9?
I would say 18.
Yeah, 21.
Without a miss? He went 21 for 21?
Yeah.
Oh, I did it. Was
Isaiah Thomas would have broken that this year, I think, right? Because he hits like 14 in a row in a game.
That's true. But yeah, he didn't have that many. And the last one I'm going to ask is most steals in a game. It's actually tied with Larry Bird. He did it in 99, so his second year in the league.
6.
8.
9.
Wow.
He's
that's
awesome.
great.
Yeah, he's great. I love Paul. I'm gonna miss Paul. All of my early memories of going to Celtics games were him just playing incredible. I don't know. You guys have any just highlights that you can think back on that you're really just gonna miss about Paul Pierce?
Well, we were talking about before, I thought it was great when I was listening to the radio and they're talking about what the greatest Boston sports players of all time, and they were trying to rank Paul Pierce. And they were saying he's probably somewhere in the teens, and I thought he has to be pretty high because of his longevity as a Boston.
Yeah, 15 years.
He was fantastic all 15 years. I mean, he got a lot of knock for in the beginning. He didn't play a lot of defense.
No.
But he changed his game and it made him a championship level player. And I would have to rank him low teens. I think he would have to be low teens. He'd have to be above somebody like Kevin Garnett because he wasn't there.
Right.
I think he's behind people like Gronk, because I think Gronk's maybe the best tight end of all time, so he's behind Gronk.
Okay.
And obviously
I
he's behind.
I think at the end of Gronk's career he'll be behind Gronk.
Right
now he's not.
Yeah.
But
so
I see that.
I'd
And there's
say in the low teens.
obvious suspects like Ted Williams.
Right. Yeah. And Tom Brady. All those guys are super high. Bird.
Right.
But I'd say he's
yeah. I mean, it's saying you're 10th all time or whatever in Boston sports history is awesome fact.
Yeah.
You know
yeah.
what I mean? You're in incredible company. You got anything to say, Paul?
Yeah, I think Paul's just underappreciated. I mean, not so much in Boston. Maybe he was for a while, and then once they won, people started to realize, how valuable and how good of a player, consistent of a player he was. Mm-hmm. But around the league, I feel like he just doesn't get the respect that he probably deserves.
Yeah, people were trash talking him when he was on a farewell tour.
Yeah, Draymond Green or something.
Yeah, but who cares what he says?
Yeah,
NBA champion, Finals MVP. I actually don't think he ever made a All NBA first team. I know he made a ton of third teams. Yeah. I think he made something like 4 or 5. Maybe second teams. He was a 10-time All-Star. I'm trying to think of some of the other things.
He's great. He's probably 50 best player of all time.
He won the three-point shootout in 2010.
I don't even know how it happened.
But yeah, I'm really gonna miss Paul. Shout out to Paul. Maybe he's looking like he's gonna be involved in sports media now.
Yeah, I like him as an
analyst. He's a good analyst.
Yeah.
He likes the hot takes.
Except he just said so many dumb things during the
finals. He was just trying to come out hot. That's
he
all it was.
Yeah,
he was trying to come out hot.
But
I think it's just that some players are just bitter against other players.
I agree.
He clearly is anti-LeBron.
He's
clearly
people
that he played. Right. People that he played against, he's a little. He gives shots at.
Yeah. All right, well, thank you for calling game, Paul. All right. Until next time. Maybe we'll have him on the show soon. Damn, that's crazy that you've got it 6 times. All right, so rule changes. All right, this is going to be really quick. So the NBA had they have their annual meeting. It's right before free agency or during free agency, and then it gets released what the rules changes are. The rule changes are pretty boring, but I'm just going to go over them regardless. So basically, the trade deadline was moved forward a week, so it's before the All-Star game instead of after the All-Star game. There's a lot of changes to timeouts. Timeouts were reduced from 9 per team per game to 7 per team. You can only use 2 timeouts in the last 3 minutes. Instead of there being full timeouts and 20-second timeouts, they're all just team timeouts, and now they're 75 seconds. And you get a delay of game if you go beyond the 3-point line when you're shooting a free throw. And then there's one more. Halftime was reduced to 15 minutes. Do any of
that? They did that because of DeAndre or somebody?
Yeah, I don't know.
He just
walks forever. I think they're all flow of the game
right,
kind
they're
of
trying to make
things.
it quicker.
Right. So I think something to think about with the trade deadline is I think we're going to see less trades happen at the trade deadline. Giving the time of just time off and kind of pressure mounting with All-Star game and maybe who's in and who's out and stuff like that really forces teams to consider trades that they wouldn't otherwise be really going after. And I mean, it's I think the exact number, I think it was 10 days earlier. That doesn't seem like a big amount of time, but that moves it a lot earlier. It's right in the smack of the beginning of February. Teams are still going to be kind of trying to mesh for that playoff run or completely dumping it. So I think that next year the trade deadline is going to be pretty boring and we're not going to see much, and maybe they're going to have to alter it, but who knows? Do any of these changes mean anything?
I think it's just a whole bunch of nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, you moved it up 10 days. I don't think, if anything, there's less trades.
Right.
And I don't think I think if anything they should move it back so it gets more interesting towards those playoff teams that want to make one more move,
Yeah, I guess so.
And now they're not going to do that,
So I think all of their moves in just recent years, in terms of like what their changes in terms of the cap allowances are, have all just been hinging on a team being able to retain their players. And it's just like they changed what you're allowed to offer in terms of contracts. They've changed like what the restrictions are for certain contracts. So I think it's all like, we want small market teams to be able to retain the talent that they have. We want teams to stay. We want to restrict super teams. And whether they're successful or not, we'll find out. But I think that's kind of what the goal is in all this. Does any of these rules mean anything?
The trade deadline, I don't know that it actually matters. I do kind of like it being earlier because I guess a player would have more time. If it's a big move you make,
That's true.
you could have more time to
So
mesh with
DeMarcus-
the team.
yeah, so
Like DeMarcus
suppose-
Cousins is exactly what I'm
suppose,
thinking of.
Suppose he adjusted another 3 games to adjust. Hey, who knows? Maybe they win 3-1 or something like that, and another team tanks out.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Yeah.
Like
The other thing I don't get, I don't understand the point of only 2 timeouts within 3 minutes.
they're just trying to slow it up. There's so many timeouts at the end of the games,
Right,
and like
but-
stoppages of time.
So what I'm thinking is that that'll definitely affect locally televised games a lot more than it will nationally televised games.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
Which is
less
kind of
advertising.
interesting.
Yeah,
But I
I
mean, I
guess
feel like you should just be able to use your time. Like if you want to
That
use
might
it late in the
affect coaches, you know? That
Yeah.
could affect a coach's strategy, to, like just saving all those timeouts.
I don't get it,
You
though.
got to save one.
Right.
All right, whatever. Next
Yeah.
topic. I think this is going to be the last one. No, we already did Kyrie. We already did Paul. Okay, Celtics signings. This is another like relatively quick topic. The Celtics have made 11 signings this offseason. It doesn't seem like that, but if you include Paul Pierce, we got Gordon Hayward, we signed rookies Tatum, Zizic. He's technically a rookie. Zizic,
Yabusele.
Aaron Baines, Yabusele, that Daniel Thies guy from Germany, wherever he's from. We actually just signed Shane Larkin, which I don't know about that. And then we gave out one of our. So you're allowed to have two-way contracts. So it's literally like a JV and varsity, like you can play both in the D League and the NBA. We gave that out to Kadeem Allen, the second-round pick that we have. That was supposed to be like a defensive stopper, who actually I wasn't really impressed with at all.
Yeah.
Out of all these
What
contracts,
about Ojale?
we signed Ojale, 4-year deal. I'm pretty extra actually.
But, so Ojale wasn't part of that JV varsity? Kind
No,
of thing?
if he's straight, he wasn't a two-way. I'm pretty sure.
What about
Pretty sure. Nader got 2 years, $6 million deal. I hate him.
4 years, I think.
I don't think so.
Wait, so is he going to be in the NBA?
Yeah,
That's what I don't get. Like,
yeah.
we don't want Abdel Nader on our roster.
Not
That's
at
what I'm
all.
saying. So which player do you think will live up to their contract best, and which player do you think is going to be not worth the contract?
I love Semi Ojale.
Yeah, I think he's
I
fantastic.
love Semi Ojale.
I think Semi's probably my favorite. I think almost all those guys I feel like would just be like all-star D-leaguers, and I don't want any of them on the Celtics.
I think Kadeem Allen, I'm out. Larkin, out. I don't even know why we signed him. Why do we
do not get that at all.
want a fourth backup point guard?
I don't
We
know.
got Terry. We don't need that. I'm very interested in Baines. I think he's going to be the value signing because I think he's going to get. He's not going to start the majority of the games, but I think he's starting probably 30.
18 minutes.
No, I think he's probably going to start like 30 games
he'll make a difference.
this year, and I think he's probably going to play like 22 minutes a game, 23 minutes a game. I think he's going to add the toughness that we want. I think that he's going to be the things that we expected Zizic to be.
He's better than Zizic. He's
Earlier
definitely better
on.
than
I think Zizic can develop and be a better player than Baines.
Right, in this
but
series.
right now, Baines is what we wanted Zizic to be, which I think was a good addition. Let's do one more, and then we'll do a new segment. Just do a quick one. We only have like 3 things left on here. Just go to 2K. Okay, 2K18 is about to come out. We got some rankings up. Players reacting pretty funny to their rankings. Let's see what we got here. I got Kyrie with a 90. He said he should have been a 95. Makes sense, right? IT 89. How do you feel about that?
Oh,
I think
that's
he's
terrible.
I think he
If
should have been 90.
Kyrie is better. Kyrie is not better than IT. IT should get a better ranking. He was the 5th in MVP. How is he behind Kyrie?
I agreed. I think he should have been like a 91. Damon Lillard, our guy right here on the board, 89. What do you think about Dame Dollar 89?
That's fine. I'm fine with
That's
Lillard at 89.
Accurate. Okay, we got Devin Booker as 86.
That's a good ranking.
I think that's perfect. For
He's
him.
still young.
I was hoping that they were gonna be kind of underrating him, and they were only giving him like an 82 or something like that. But they did.
He's a good 2K player, even at like an 80 ranking though,
I
because he
feel
just
you.
snipes from the
He
outside.
shoots.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. Paul George is a 91. I actually thought he was gonna be higher. 91's pretty low. Karl Anthony Towns is a 91. I think that's a good ranking for him. He was excited. So literally every one of these players that reacted on like social media was just pissed about their rating. They all thought they should have been way higher.
Like Embiid, who
Yeah.
played 30 games.
Yeah, and then Karl Anthony Towns got a 91. He was like, all right, I like it. Yeah, I could build off that. This is a good rating.
I think, that fits him, and I like his whole mentality.
His
His
whole thing.
commercials are funny.
Yeah, he's
Everything
great.
about
Karl
him is
Towns
great.
is great.
Fan.
Yeah.
Joel Embiid was at 86. I agree with you, 31 games. When he plays over 60 games, I think he's going to be higher than that. He's
Yeah,
best.
yeah. But,
Um,
but he was arguing that he should be higher. And that's
yeah.
like saying Greg Oden should have been a 95 after he had 20 and 15 in his first summer league game.
That's true. And just something else to spin off that, I was talking with our friend Ray, and he was just saying, do you think that just kind of this video game generation has influence on the players in terms of what their expectations for how teams are constructed and the way that they can go about free agency and the way that they can go about kind of hunting after a contract or looking for certain teammates. Because he's saying that maybe in a situation like Kyrie, like he's requesting a trade, trying to like choose these teams, trying to just make a super team. That you're not just like trading player A/B, just make your own team. You know, does that type of does that have an influence on it?
I think if there's any influence, I think it's more video games influence the style of play, like how basketball is so much offense based right now. That I think that's like three-pointers are through the roof shot attempts for three-pointers, and that's just the whole style of play. When you're playing on a video game, it's all about three-pointers and dunks. That's all it is. And I think that's a generational thing right now is totally geared towards way too many three-pointers and way too many dunks. Even we were talking about the Zion Williams.
Oh my God.
He looks like a video game.
He looks like a video game.
He looks like a video game.
He's phenomenal.
Yeah.
So what do you think? 2K got influence on the league now?
I mean, I think honestly, it might change how people think. I mean, to even think that you could have a team of LeBron, Wade, and Bosh in like the 80s is crazy.
Right.
But that could also be affected and kind of influenced by other sports as well. You see, like baseball players. I remember Johnny Damon left the Red Sox for the Yankees. Like now you see teams just joining like better teams.
Right.
Like Durant did. So I don't know. I think it's a combination of things. I don't think it's crazy to say.
No, I don't think it's crazy to say something there. All right. So we're moving to a new segment. This segment is going to be called Cards. So over time, me, my brothers, family members, everyone has allotted a lot of basketball cards. So I got some crazy basketball cards here. I got a deck of about 50 cards. I got Mike Bibby in my hand. I got Steve Kerr in my hand. I got Charles Barkley in my hand. What we're going to do here is I'm going to deal out like 7 or 8 cards to each host on the show. And then each of us, you have to choose 5. You got to choose your starting 5. You got to choose your starting 5. And then you're going to show your starting 5. And we're going to compete and see who would beat the other ones in a series or a game. And you also pick your coach. Here, pick your coach first.
Give me a good coach. I want to be the coach. Am I a coach?
Who do you got?
Oh, I got Pat Riley. That's pretty good.
That's a good coach. Don't get
You
a bad
give me
coach.
my GM and my coach. Who's he talking to?
Who you got?
Jerry Sloan, dude.
Jerry Sloan? Oh, I got Phil Jackson. We got some great coaches. We got some great coaches. All right, so I'm just going to do.
Oh, I like what I'm seeing here. I just hope I get an arrangement of positions. I hope I don't get stocked.
Pick your
guards.
5. Pick your starting 5. Oh, I got a great
Holy
arrangement.
smokes, my team's dynamite.
My team's stacked. All right.
I don't want him.
Yeah.
Or him.
I don't know what I'm doing here. I got a very peculiar team. Okay. I got my starting 5.
I don't have a shooting. Oh, yeah, this is good.
Okay, I'm going to go over it first because I'm ready first. So starting at point guard, I got my boy here with a figurine. I got Dame Dollar, Damian Lillard. And then I went with a pretty small lineup. So I got Lou Will and Joe Dumars kind of just flex guards. No
so you get
small
some
forward.
points?
I got no small forward. I got some lockdown D, and then I got Barkley and the Admiral, David Robinson in the middle.
You do have a pretty stacked team. You got
Stacked.
some scorers, and then you got some, Barkley will be a leader on that team.
That's right. David Robinson
know.
will really motivate Lou Will to have the right attitude.
You don't want to bring Lou Will off the bench, though. I don't.
Nah, I didn't like my other options. We're only picking 5 players. I was
We don't
out.
have a 6th man.
I had an autographed Chris Middleton card, but he's not really good enough to make it. Who you got, Will?
All right, so my starting 5 at point guard, I got Russell Westbrook, the MVP caliber. We got Chris Mullen going to shoot the lights out. We got Larry Johnson, who's just going to muscle people playing 3. He's not even playing the 4.
Okay.
And then I just got block central. I got Anthony Davis and Dikembe Mutombo.
Wow.
Nobody is
That's a
scoring in
tough
the
team.
paint.
That's a tough
Like,
team.
this is like defensive juggernaut.
That's a tough team.
And I mean, if I got Russell scoring, and he's kicking out to Chris Mullen. Imagine if Chris Mullen was on the Thunder this year. He would get
phenomenal.
5 more assists.
Yeah, he would be incredible. Who you got, Ben? What's your 5?
I'm going to preface this by saying my team will probably lose. That being said, I have been able to team up Coach Jerry Sloan with former Jazz great Karl Malone.
Wow,
which I like.
very good deal for you, huh?
But then starting at the point, Steve Kerr, who I would like to use as a player coach, but I really had no one else to play at point guard here. Baron Davis,
Nice.
who is going to play the 2. He is a point guard.
B. Diddy.
And then I got Celtics starting at the 3 and the 4, Gordon Hayward and Marcus Morris.
Wow, yeah.
Oh,
Very
yeah.
Celtic team.
And then
Wow.
I got Jared Sullinger on the bench. So.
Okay, yeah. Well, he
Yeah,
doesn't
your
matter.
team is last place.
Your team's
You're
definitely
out.
last place. I
We
think
would have some competition here. I'm going to pull on my team because if we have multiple MVP, we got Anthony Davis and Russell Westbrook on TV. We have role players like shooters.
I think my team scores on your team. My perimeter scorers are not scared of your perimeter defenders. I think Joe Dumars would struggle with Larry Johnson in defense,
but he would just
Your
completely
team is small with
overlap it.
Dumars at the 3.
Don't matter.
My
Don't
team's
matter.
huge.
Don't matter. Don't matter. I'm not nervous. I think David Robinson neutralizes Hakeem Dikembe. I really don't think it's an issue.
Dikembe's just a monster on defense.
All right,
He's not doing anything on offense.
Your team's out. Which team wins?
Who's the first guy on the left?
I got Russell.
You got
Westbrook.
Westbrook.
No, on the left.
Dikembe.
Oh, Dikembe, defensive.
Is that Chris Mullen?
Yeah.
Yeah, shooter.
Yeah, that's a pretty good team.
This is like a great mesh too. Pat Riley with some, Larry Johnson's a little the head case, so Pat Riley would really put him in order. I think it's a great.
I like both these teams. I gotta think Logan's team's a little better.
All right, I
Anthony
agree.
Davis and Dikembe?
Yeah. All right, save those 5. Put those 5 across. That's the winning team. We're going to do one more, and then we're going to move to a mailbag segment.
Am I keeping my coach?
Yeah, keep your coach.
Somehow I think somebody's stacking the deck in my order. My team looks stacked again, and I only have 4 players. Oh, that guy stinks. He's going to the bench.
Okay.
Can we keep our old cards too?
No, no, old cards are
Can
out.
we keep the
Oh,
bench
it's over.
players from
It's over.
yesterday?
It's over. My team wins. It's not even close.
Yeah, my team is not as good as last.
It's not even close. Like, you guys should just quit now.
I have another good defensive team.
It's not even close. All right, Logan, who you got? You can go first.
I got Kenny Smith at the point.
Yep.
I got some dunkers with Dominique and Scottie Pippen at the 2 and 3. Then I got Bargnani. He's kind of terrible, but maybe like.
You didn't want Larry Sanders?
No, I didn't want Larry Sanders because I figured I got enough defense with Kenny Smith, Dominique, and Scottie, and then I got DeMarcus Cousins at the big man. I was actually considering Larry Sanders over Cousins because I'm not a big Cousins fan, but that would be a bad idea.
Okay, your team.
But I have another size. I have a big team. I got a real big team.
You're not going to even think of it. No, you can't use old players. Stop.
I got all Celtics though.
Okay, let's hear your all Celtics lineup.
I got Isaiah Thomas at the 1,
Nice.
Gordon Hayward at the 2, Marcus Morris at the 3,
Oh, that's great.
Jared Solinger at the. Well, I'm gonna switch. Jared Solinger will go 4 and have Larry Legend at the 4.
All right, so I'm sorry that I had to win, but my team is the best team possibly assembled with the cards. I have Gary Payton at point guard. I got Michael Jordan at shooting guard. I got LeBron James at small forward, and then I got Hakeem and Shaq in the paint.
You got like a best team ever.
This is how the cards landed. I did it one by one. I don't know what to tell you, so I'll take the W on that. Yeah, so we're going to close
That's a
those
clear
out.
win.
One win for this. Let's go to some mailbag questions, and then we'll wrap it up. Let's do that here. That was a good one. Cards. Next time, maybe we'll do a little bit of different spin on it. Try to keep that
I like that.
aside. All right, so right into the mailbag. We only got a little bit of time. Nate from Upton would like to know if Jaylen Brown's drive-by dunk challenge could be topped. Did you see the dunk?
I think
it
it's
was great. It was awesome. He got out of the car. So most of the time, people are going to homes that don't have people playing on the hoops. He went where there's 2 people there, literally shooting around, steals the ball out of the guy's hand, and then lowers the hoop because he dunks it with such force.
Yes. And it looked like the guy that was like off the camera, the kid, like was gonna go play defense or something, and then he was like, he clearly didn't know who he was.
Right.
And then he just was like shocked.
Yeah, he was like, what? That was crazy. Was that Jaylen Brown?
Like watching that one makes me want to do it myself. I want to do a dunk challenge.
We should definitely do it.
There were some pretty good ones too, just from. Anthony Davis did it, but it was kind of.
Yeah, that was weak. It was weak.
But then there were other guys who did just random people.
He
who
did
were
like
going
under the legs. Yeah, I saw that. That was
a
incredible.
sweet dunk. And I mean, all these went drive-by dunks. The hoop's a little lower, so you can get real creative when you're doing that.
That's true. Okay, and Ben from Dartmouth wants to know how good of a baller did Uncle Mike used to be. So I don't know. I have no knowledge. I mean, we could ask him next time he comes on. Have you ever seen Mike play or any film or anything like
I
that?
have never seen him play, but through talking through all the uncles, I hear he was like a great high school basketball player, like exceptional team leader. Like he always talks about, he can shoot and he's 6'4",
Right.
So he's a stretch 4, which
He loves doing this.
Yeah,
This
is what he was doing
He loves
last
his
time.
form. Like he thinks
got
he's
nice form,
he's
yeah.
got good form, and he's got a high release. He's a stretch 4, and
Stretch 4.
And all the uncles, like, they were dominated.
They were all really good.
basketball,
Dan,
yeah.
Uncle Dan was really good. Yeah, it was crazy.
He wasn't. I hear that Dan was the best uncle.
Yes,
I hear that Dan was the best. So he wasn't the best uncle, but Uncle Dan played Division II basketball.
Yeah.
So
Nice thing.
I have to believe Uncle Mike was a shooter because last time when Logan came, he said, it's good we got more size. I can move over, play the 4, and I can shoot, and he did this. So it's funny that you guys say that.
All right, so we're wrapping it up. Sorry if I didn't get your mailbag questions in. We'll get them in next episode. Thank you for joining us on My Wheelhouse.
The wheel